Maestro Alessandro Lastricati told Cellini to his face, "You are taking in hand a thing which defies the laws of art. It cannot be done." Cellini was a goldsmith, not a sculptor. He had never cast a bronze at this scale, and he was attempting a single pour. The entire statue in one continuous flow of molten metal. Something no one had done in over a century. 9 years later, the crowd left poems at his feet. This is the Perseus, and the question is whether what you are looking at is a work of genius, or the most elaborate lie ever cast in bronze. 519 centimeters. Bronze. Loggia dei Lanzi, Florence. Same spot since April 27th, 1554. Perseus stands on Medusa's body, sword in his right hand, her severed head in his left, held aloft, blood flowing downward in cast bronze. His face is calm. The goldsmith's precision is everywhere. Wings on his sandals, snakes in Medusa's hair. Detail that belongs on a ring applied to a 5-meter bronze. But look at Medusa's head. Her eyes are still open, facing outward, toward the other statues in the square. Donatello's Judith, Michelangelo's David, looking directly at them, as if she has already turned them to stone. Cellini insisted on casting the figure in a single pour. His workmen said it was impossible. On the night of the casting, he came down with a life-threatening fever. He was in bed when an assistant ran upstairs. The bronze had curdled, hardening before it reached the mold. Cellini got out of bed, ordered his household pewter, plates, cups, everything, thrown into the furnace to lower the melting point, stood over the pour until the bronze moved. The statue came out complete. He documented it in La Vita di Benvenuto Cellini. Art historians dismissed it as fiction, too dramatic. Later, metallurgists confirmed the technique was sound. The pewter improvisation works exactly as he described. A man who had never sculpted a large bronze produced the most technically ambitious casting of the 16th century, sick, with kitchen dishes. The Uffizi galleries describe it directly, a political manifesto. Art historian Charles Dempsey documented the symbolism. Medusa is the former Florentine Republic. Perseus is Cosimo. The severed head is a message. Cosimo I placed it on a high plinth, visible from the entrance of his own palace. He paid for a threat. He got one. Cellini was, by his own account, a murderer. His autobiography documents murders, imprisonments, an escape from the Castel Sant'Angelo, and attempted poisonings against him. He worked for Pope Clement VII, Francis I of France, then Cosimo de Medici. James Fenton, in his introduction to the Penguin edition of La Vita, noted Cellini was prone to self-aggrandizement, and that the casting account was dismissed as fiction until the statue's physical evidence made scholars reconsider. Not all of it was confirmed, which means the fever, the pewter, The crisis is either the most dramatic true story in Renaissance art, or a man who understood how to make himself a legend did exactly that. On the back of Perseus' helmet, there's a face, Cellini's self-portrait, facing away from the Duke's palace, visible only to someone who walks behind the statue and looks up. He also hid his name inside the strap across Perseus's chest, embedded in the composition. Where you have to look. He made a political manifesto for a duke who wanted to threaten his people, and signed it twice in places Cosimo would never see. Here is where the statue becomes two different objects. Cosimo's reading, Order over Chaos, Medici power over Republican resistance. Exactly what the Duke paid for. Cellini's reading, a goldsmith told it was impossible made it anyway, signed it twice where his patron would never look, then wrote a book that made the whole story legendary regardless of what was true. If you accept the first, you are looking at the most effective political sculpture of the Renaissance. If you accept the second, you are looking at a man who made a duke's manifesto and quietly turned it into his own monument, hiding himself on the back of the helmet, facing the other direction. Cosimo has been dead for 450 years. The self-portrait is still there. Medusa's eyes are still open, still facing the other statues. The self-portrait is still on the helmet. The name is still in the strap. Whether this is a duke's warning or a goldsmith's revenge, the bronze has been refusing to answer since 1554. Drop your reading in the comments. I read every one.